Greetings, everybody. I'm Scott Rodell here at the Great Rodell Center. I'm out in the Wuguan's garden today, enjoying a nice spring day. Great Rodell Center is, of course, also home to our Academy of Chinese Swordsmanship, and this is episode 4 of our Feijian series. Of course, I've been working on keeping up my throwing, but as I've been doing that, I'm looking around, trying to see what kind of historical illustrations, vintage photos there are out there. And one thing I noticed was a lot of the targets, the old targets you see in these illustrations and old photos, have a long strip and multiple bullseyes from the top way down. And that really got me thinking about my targeting. Of course, when you start off, you're just happy to, stick it in there. Oh, I like that close to the center. You're just trying to get your technique down and, you're happy if you stick it. Once you do, got to go for that, miss small, aim small, miss small, start thinking more about a target. And of course, normally you're just kind of going for the center, wherever you've placed your bullseye. But I started thinking about, of course, working with my Jian. I'm not practicing knife throwing, just for the fun of it. It's fun, I enjoy it. But I'm not doing it just for the fun of it. I want to put that together with my Jianfa, with drawing, as you've seen in previous episodes. So I started thinking about these targets, the old ones in the illustrations, and thinking, okay, where should I be aiming? And probably the first thing you think is, if I'm doing this martially and I want to upset my Duifang's balance, you might think, stick it, I was going to say in the head or toward the face, that's a little bit low. Of course, maybe that would go to the throat. That might be a good target. But if you're thinking about that, somebody can kind of dodge their head rather easily, I'd say. Of all parts of the body you could move the head out of the way perhaps the most easiest. So, and of course, if you go into the chest, that's a little low again, hit the chest, it's kind of naturally armored. So, okay, what about the stomach? Stomach is good, abdomen is softer. The whole idea here is to get the Duifang to move so we can get a cut to upset him. Could also be, as we discussed, could be, there's multiple Duifang coming from different directions. I want to throw at one, keep him busy so I can cut the other. I may want to get out of there. I want to throw to distract him and run like hell. But, if I throw and I've got to deal with this guy, if I'm going to throw and then draw my Jian, using that throw to, off position my Duifang, make an opportunity to get in, then, okay, stomach, probably a good target. But as we do in our system, we're always practicing that willow bends where your partner has a weapon and you don't, and you've got to learn to move, to slip and void and get in when the Duifang's cutting at you. So slipping a thrust or a cut, thrust, of course, in this situation, to the stomach, maybe, not that great. Maybe that's not the best target. So thinking about, again, those targets we see in the old illustrations where you've got all those bullseyes from high up to down low, started me thinking what part of the body should I aim at that's going to most disrupt the Duifang? It's going to really get him off balance. And I thought, the foot or the leg. Because when you have to go for the foot, of course, I can. And I'm sort of thinking here, this is a situation where I'm going to show the Duifang that I've got a knife, right? I'm coming towards you. I have my Jian in my hand, right, ready to go, ready to drop. I got my knife, and you see I've got my knife. If I throw, you may think I'm going to the head. If I throw a little lower, maybe move the head and I get the stomach. But what part of the body would really get him to move most upset the Duifang's balance? If he had to move his foot quickly, right? Especially if it's that rear foot. If he's in a ready position on his back leg there, and I throw for that back foot or anything aiming down here toward that leg, and he has to move that, he's probably most upset in his balance. So I'm started thinking, yes, I could fake it to the high, make it look like it's high, and into the stomach. That's great for a cut. That works quite well. But what about going a little bit lower? What about down into the foot or the leg or the calf? Again, it's great when you hit. It's wonderful to land that cut. but it's really more about upsetting the Dui Funk's balance so he's not ready. So here, I show him I got my knife, maybe boom, 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 start in and down low. And then I like to come with the uppercut, or I should say cutting down, not an uppercut. The Liao would be cutting up, cutting with a P cut, because think about it, if I'm coming towards you and I'm ready, you see I've got my knife, I've got my sword, everything's looking ready, and I start to go, and I put that down into the foot, you might be expecting that, a raise and come up with a P cut. Maybe that's better. Of course, both would be really good. Try them out. So if you're like me, and you're not just throwing for the fun of it, which is definitely a good reason to throw knives, it is quite fun, but if you're not just throwing for the fun of it, you're thinking about this as a martial practice, as part of our Chinese, part of our expanded Chinese sword tradition. This was something that Chinese did very much as part of their martial arts. So if you're doing it like me for that reason, think about adding to your targets. As you can see here, I've had to beef mine up quite a bit. Just got this extra cookie from my friend, so I could add that lower one. Add a few targets on, or make a long strip and spray paint, or however you want to put a bunch of bullseyes on, and start thinking about faking them out, aiming at different targets, high and low. All right, until next time, stay strong, keep practicing. Please don't forget to give us that thumbs up, and we always appreciate a subscription. 再见, everybody.